So yeah, that's.
I'll tell you guys a little secret, although it won't be a secret after I say it. I'm very spiritual, not religious, but I have really, really strong doubts about Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
I do. I mean, I believe in God. I pray to God every night. I do. You know what I mean? But I'm kind of on the fence. Like, was he merely a prophet, or was he the Messiah? And did somebody take his body out of that tomb? Or there's just so many things that I have questions about. And nobody, and I mean nobody, is willing to answer them. I mean, I believe in God. I pray to God every night. I do. You know what I mean? But I'm kind of on.
Some theories are the mind is powerful, more than we realize. Because under enough under enough stress, it can make entire crowds lose control. Because you see a sporting event, soccer, for instance. How many times do you hear about people getting killed because the soccer game didn't go quite the way the fans wanted it, and then they started storming the field and tearing the stadium down, and to imagine being trampled to death by humans. I can imagine like Buffalo and stuff like that. It's going to be over pretty quick, but to have a bunch of like 160 to 300 pound people of various sizes and weights just stepping all over you, and some people actually got crushed, like pushing up against the gate.
Yeah.
And when the entire crowd, it's just, I imagine it being like a Play-Doh dispenser. That'd be so gross.
Ugh.
But yeah, I will tell you, the mind is super powerful because
we ended up giving him a little bit of CBD, and that seemed to calm him down. But he was just having these stomach spasms.
So he was like throwing up.
Yeah.
That is the worst.
That is disgusting.
Especially the sounds like.
Yes. You're like, go outside. You're trying to usher them outside at the same time.
Oh yeah.
Not step on it or whatever. It's
yep.
They don't understand what's going on.
Well, and fortunately, I don't have that gag reflex. Like Coletrane has a massive gag reflex, so if he sees it, he'll just so I'm the fortunate one that gets to clean.
Let's set the scene. A well-dressed man arrives in Tokyo Airport, apparently. He has a passport from a country that nobody's ever heard of. He insists it's real. Then he disappears without a trace. For 70 years, the world's been asking, who the hell was the man from Taured? So, break out the story here. July 1954. Haneda Airport, post-war Tokyo. A European man in a gray suit steps off a plane and presents passport from Taured. He insists it's a small country between France and Spain. Authorities are baffled. His paperwork looks real. Stamps, visa, checkbox, business cards. No one can confirm his identity. He's detained in a guarded hotel room. The next morning, he's gone. Door locked.
It's called the Turkey Leg Hut. Imagine that. But right here we got, first of all, swamp fries. So it's fries seasoned with homemade slow roasted pot roast drenched with gravy drippings, spicy jalapeno cheese, and the house special sauce.
That sounds amazing, minus the spicy cheese.
Yeah, it lost me at jalapeno, but the rest of it sounds really good.
Jerk chicken tacos with an extra kick. 3 grilled jerk chicken tacos topped with spicy mango pico de gallo, cheese, and jerk sauce. Served on a toasted flour tortilla. Let's get down to the actual legs here, because that's what they're... Okay, the famous turkey leg is slow smoked turkey leg prepared with our secret ingredients and seasoning.
twisted, facts get sold. We cut through the noise, break the mold. Pop culture, scandals, history lost. We dig up the truth, no matter the cost. The Coletrane's leading, JJ's got the take. Shell drops the hammer, make no mistake. No script, no leash, no corporate chain. We wreck the rules and derail the game. This is TraneWreck'D. Step up or stay out the way. You're either all in or you're just in the way.
All right, it's already been a week since the last show, and it was like it was almost yesterday that we were fucking that show all up. I am Coletrane. This is TraneWreck'D, and they are Shell and JJ. Shell would be the one stage right, and JJ is the one waving like a queen at the bottom. So it's been I heard both in Nebraska and I know here, weather's been crazy as hell. What was it? 3 days ago, it was what, 70? It was like an overcast 70-ish or something like that.
A lot of rain.
Well, I was getting to that.
Oh,
Next day, it started off kind of gloomy, and then all of a sudden, the clouds just opened up and poured. I mean, like rain, which when you live here, boy, that's like snow on Christmas. You just can't wait to go out there and splash around. No, you don't do all that, but you definitely look out the window, and then you definitely get worried about your shit outside that you forgot about. But the good news is the project I've been working on, that carport, which pictures will be coming. I stood inside there while the wind and rain was coming, and not one drip came in. So I insulated the bad boy right. I was in there today once it reached about 95 outside. I figured out how to get it to about 15 degrees lower than outside. So basically, I've determined that 95 and above, you just don't go out there.
yep.
But generally by evening, it's roughly, I don't know, it drops, what, 15 degrees by the time nighttime hits. So pronounce the name of the show, because JJ had me tickling pronounce. How'd you pronounce it?
What?
Okay. Girl, are you paying attention?
Yes, I am. But
Tyra Barney says, before y'all start, pronounce the name of the show, because JJ had me tickled pronouncing it one day. TraneWreck'D.
I said TraneWreck'D.
It's both, actually, because that's the I did that on the song on purpose, because when it's just Trainwreck, it doesn't put the D out there. But
and she was making fun of me. She was like, "How are you going to be on the show and not even know the name?" I'm like, that is the name. That's the name.
Hey, Billy boy, how you doing? Dark side, sir. Cat's doing good. Thought we lost it again, but it turns out it was hanging out in our youngest's room.
Under all of her multiple blankets, even though I told
that's
her
the thing, like, she need to clean that damn room. And that was the first thing I thought of when they said that they couldn't find her. I was like, they know how to look at a room, so had me down there looking at shit, everybody all getting emotional and shit. I was looking out in the carport, and Adriana came out with the cat crying, and she was like, I found her. I was like, where was she? In my room. It does have a bell. That's the thing. It's just there's just so much. This house is large, and there's 2 dogs outside in the pond. There's a turtle. There's
3 turtles, and
there's 4 to 6 motherfuckers running around here at any time between us and the boyfriends. And so hey Jambi, how you doing? That's Jambi, damn it. Jake, not with State Farm, says hello. You got to get that distinction. Turtle is okay. It actually had to have a couple of rounds of antibiotics, I think, because it cut his chin on. I think he was trying to escape again, but bumped his chin, and But it's okay now. It's had a couple of vet visits. Hey, Christy, thanks for tuning in. Those of you who are watching, if you want to go ahead and click that like button, click that share button, and if you're not subscribed, click that subscribe button. It's real easy. Bottom right-hand corner, red square, has a triangle in the middle of it. Just go, and that's all you got to do. JJ got an admirer. How you doing, sweetheart? From Jake, not from State Farm.
Hi, Jake. How are you?
As the countdown was going for the show, I was like getting everything ready. And right when we got down to like 45 seconds, I noticed that my coffee had gotten cold. Oh, damn it.
Yep. He just
appreciate that, Jake.
Cold coffee. I mean,
it's funny
coffee.
that you can drink cold coffee.
I was going to say there's hot coffee or iced coffee. But
yeah,
between is ugh.
If your hot coffee gets cold, it's gross.
Yeah.
But if it starts out as iced coffee, it's okay.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Ain't that some dumb shit? So, hey, Billy says hello to JJ.
Hi, Billy. I'm sorry, I can't read the
You can't read.
comments.
Period.
No, I can't read the comments. They're too small.
I know.
Yeah.
Didn't I get you another screen?
Yes. We're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the TV?
That is not a topic of discussion right now.
Oh, okay. I get everything now. Okay, it all makes sense.
That's why we're not going to talk about it, because
Got
I can't get it fucking
Got
work.
it.
And I'm like,
What's
something is about to go out the
Society in
window.
Indianapolis. What's that, baby?
I said something was about to go out the window.
Yep.
Are you by yourself? Is just you and the baby, or what?
Yeah, just me and Ari.
Well, I guess your mama wouldn't be no help either, would she?
No.
They've just been standing around scratching each other's heads.
Looking confused at each other.
Oh,
yeah.
Get on them comments, Shelbert. They're coming in fast and furious, actually. So I'm doing a lot of ums today. I don't know what the hell that's all about. We're gonna later on in the show, we're gonna be talking about the Pollock twins, which is probably where everybody turn in and see what this creepy shit's all about. But it's the twins back in the 50s in England, jolly old England. Something just caught my eye. Hang on. So anyway, in England, they got hit by a car and killed, and the couple had another set of twins a year later, and twins don't run in the family. So we'll get to that in a little bit. Enjoyed your show with Ivan Drago. That would have been cool if it was Ivan Drago, but it was Jaden Drago. But I hear you working though, man. No, Ivan Drago was the dude that Rocky beat in Rocky 4. Why Dolph Lundgren. Billy hates cold coffee too. Do you like it when it's iced, or do you just like when it's when it gets cold? You hate that. Let's see. In the meantime, get to all
the turtle are doing well.
Yep. People really love that cat and turtle, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna bring them on some show. The cat's an asshole, so she's a real diva.
Yeah.
So she'll
she was
want her
trying to get in the room with me earlier, and I'm like, no, because
she don't do that. She looks like she's thinking about it with me, but you know, only time she wants to mess with me is when I'm cooking, and she tries to climb the cabinets and then falls on me and stuff. But while we're waiting on Billy's answer, if you want to reach me at Instagram, it's instagram.com/jaded_Coletrane. Remember, it's like Michael Cole and Drivetrain, not the choo-choo type and not the kind you boing. If you want to go to our Instagram site, it is instagram.com/TraneWreck'D. TraneWreck'D. So is half right. Facebook, just go to Jaded Zen Entertainment and you should find our official page. Go ahead and click on that, because what I'm trying to do is, you know, get everything over to that page so I don't necessarily have to advertise on my personal page all the damn time. So if we could move over there, or if y'all just subscribe, you know, I wouldn't have to do that to begin with. If you're watching on Facebook, which a lot of you are, the official YouTube page, where it's way better, is youtube.com/@JadedZen. Easy enough. And I'm just going to preface this by saying maybe this Friday at 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern. It's our conversation show. Didn't happen last week, quite simply because we're old, we got tired, and we forgot to record. So just being completely transparent, that's what happened. We plan on recording tonight. We're going to knock out a few more shows. So hopefully the next few Fridays will be, a little bit more advantageous, shall we say, or adventurous. That's the word I'm looking for. See what happens when you try to use big words and you fuck them up.
Right.
That's Facebook in a nutshell.
Hey, Bruce.
There's been a lot of bad news going around. So of course there's been a lot of depression. There's been a lot of people who are trying to give it up. Good Lord. Take two. A lot of people trying to give up, on life. And that was unfortunate. There's been a lot of bad news going on in the world. And there's been a lot of depression, and you see it around social media. And a lot of people are wanting to give up, or they're screaming for help silently. And a lot of times it's the funniest person in your life that is the one that's struggling. I'm good. But usually that's who's struggling. So I feel it's my duty to put this up. If you are in a crisis or you need someone to talk to, don't hesitate to call or text 988. Super easy. 988. And they do have an online forum, 988lifeline.org/chat. 988lifeline.org/chat. So that should be pretty easy to remember. The good thing about YouTube is you can always rewind this and pause it. But again, and there's been a lot of athletes I've noticed lately, a lot of male athletes that are telling the guys it's okay. It's okay to not be okay. Yep. And I'm glad they're getting that message out. The first one was LA Knight. Before he came down the aisle, before he even gave his interview, just stopped and said, "Hey guys, if you feel like you need to cry that shit out. There's nothing wrong with that." And JJ, especially in our culture, boy, it's like you're supposed to get more pissed off before you cry.
Right.
And that ain't the way to do shit. I tried that for a while, and I was gonna murder somebody probably, and that's not good. So, it just it just angers you up too much. So,
well, and getting angry builds up, but there's no release.
Right. Man, the only release is hitting something.
Well, yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. One of those things that I like to just throw random ass facts when I figure them out. I did not know that Samuel L. Jackson was an usher at Martin Luther King's funeral service.
Huh.
I'm trying to see which one would be him. Usually they have an arrow. I know he had a big old afro and a beard back then, but
he's probably the one in the middle then.
Yeah, could be. Generation X. This is something, okay, if you're millennials or below, you're not going to know what the hell this is, but Gen X, remember this shit? When our ice cream actually came in a box.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and remember, for those of us that weren't as fortunate, there was not ice cream, there was ice milk.
Yes.
That masqueraded as ice cream. I have yet to see that. I haven't seen that in years. I wonder if I go down to was it 24th Street where what was it called? Chubb's, just before you go off to Council Bluffs. That real hood ass store. I wonder if they got it. You'd have to go to a hood store. Because I remember even some of my white contemporaries when I moved to Atlanta. What is ice milk? Ice cream, shit. One's cream, one's milk.
I remember having ice milk. I really do.
Yeah, Billy remembers. Let's see. Bruce Leroy Dooley. Have you ever watched the Billy Sellers Experience? It's a darn good show. I've caught a couple of minutes. I'm gonna sit down and watch because they're pretty short. So I'm gonna sit down and watch them this weekend when I have a little bit of time. I'll be traveling to parts unknown, so I'll have the time. What was my wrestling name? It was simply Titus. That's my shoot last name. Didn't even have time to really get a name going before I got fucked up. Thank you, Dark Side.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Dark Side.
that. But yeah, Billy remembers that ice milk, and that shit it tasted just like it sounds, like not quite ice cream,
No.
but it was a delicious frozen treat.
Right. It's like a diet version of ice cream.
That's a really good way to.
That's a good way to explain it.
Yeah.
Yep. I am really fiending for some coffee right now. So, JJ, why don't you tell us about your week for a little bit while I kick out and refresh myself with delicious caffeinated beverage. Put you on the spot.
All right. So this week I did all the normal stupid stuff, the dialysis. But I got one night where my daughter came over and stayed the night and brought my granddaughters.
Oh.
And she fell asleep early and left her kids up with me.
Oh,
and she was so asleep. She was so asleep. She was like, they're going to lay down in a minute. These kids were running around the house full speed. I was like, are you kidding me? But they finally calmed down and, went to bed.
They were at grandma's house.
Uh-huh.
And
they were showing it. I was like, come on, you guys, seriously. It's so late. Yay, so tired.
Yep. Yeah.
But
yeah, it's interesting. Our youngest, whenever she goes over to Coletrane's parents' house, she has no rules, like no rules. And if she's there for a period of time, she gets her days and nights completely confused. Like she will stay up until 4 or 5 in the morning and then sleep until 3 in the afternoon and then wake up and just do it all over again. So it's just interesting how once you're at a comfortable home, all things just go to hell, but they have fun doing it.
Yes, they had fun.
I'll tell you something else about my parents' house. No matter who you are, you're going to fall asleep. It's like one of those comfortable houses. If you find some place to sit down, it's over.
Oh, yeah.
But our house is like that too. People who can't sleep, they'll come over here and just fucking pass out. Both the boyfriends gone. Other friends we've had over, just you go in the kitchen and do something, come back out, they just all snoring and pooting and shit. She makes homemade ice cream with her granddaughter. I ain't made homemade ice cream in a long, long time. Matter of fact, it's been since I was like 12, and it was snow. Me and Dad. Well, no, I was 8. Come to 8 or 9. Me and Dad made it when it snowed, and tasted fine. But it was so much work for like such a little.
Oh, I know.
Like serving. Oh my god! It's like, have you ever churned butter?
I've tried it before.
Once.
Y'all didn't do it in like a.
Do you remember that when you went to that one-room schoolhouse?
The Heritage School,
in like 4th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We churned butter there.
And that shit's hard.
Yeah.
Very hard.
It's like you have to double jack off like this. And you get to like.
Yeah.
Gotta pause.
It was like, okay, it's your turn.
Uh-huh. Billy, her birthday was really good. Thanks
Billy.
for asking.
She loved it. She got an Xbox, so I haven't seen her since, really.
Right.
Hey, Maylali, good to see you, honey. I love that my Filipino ladies are checking in. It's morning time to them because I always get all messed up because it'd be like 4 o'clock and I always get good morning. Like, hi. Oh, yeah. You're in the Philippines.
Yep.
They're all good folks, though. Beautiful
How
ladies.
many hours did you say differences?
I didn't, but we can find out. Let's see. In Manila, somebody's gonna beat me to it. Watch. Okay, so it's currently 10:31 a.m. there. So
Oh,
what?
wow.
8 hours? 7 hours? I know a.m. I'm all fucked up.
10:31. So
So
that would be
12.
12 plus 3.
I'm good at math. So
It's
15 hour
15 hours.
difference. So yeah, it's tomorrow. Kind of like how Australia, it's always the next day.
Yep.
I have a friend down there. I'm always wishing her a happy birthday all late and shit.
Yeah.
Gonzo, what's going on,
There
man?
you go. CM Gonzo.
Good pool tonight. Good pool. JJ, I can't see you. Did you fall out again?
No, I'm here.
Oh, you're all 13 feet away from your desk?
Well, I told you I have to do it on my phone because I don't know what happened. And
What about your Mac screen?
She was having issues with it, so that's why she's going with her phone.
Lord,
And now
have
it
mercy.
froze. See
Well,
what happens?
Well, while she's tending to that, here's what we'll be talking about in about 30 seconds. You good?
I'm good.
Okay, she's straight.
I think.
I do have to say the music was very eerie.
It was.
Yeah.
It was
Yep.
like, oh.
So
Now
make
I'm
sure you
scared.
man those comments because I'm not going to be looking over here very much anymore. All right. So the Pollock twins, were they reincarnated? Were they made up? Was it a big old lie? Are we dreaming right now? Is this the Matrix? I don't know. We're going to find out. So anyway, this mystery is the case of the Pollock twins, as I mentioned. They were, what part of England were they in? Hexham, England. Can't believe I didn't remember that. They have the weirdest names like Liverpool and the River Thames, and which is spelled ThameMes. I need to quit trying to deviate. Anyway, two sisters, Joanna and Jacqueline, ages 11 and 6, were crossing the street when some lady that was under distress, which to me means drunk, basically mowed them over. So they were killed, and it was like right in front of a church. So their parents, John and Florence, wouldn't you know that'd be their names, were obviously devastated. So the crazy part, though, is John, who was a devout Catholic, was really into the idea of reincarnation, but Catholics don't really like that. So the church was having none of that shit. So he claims that he prayed and prayed and prayed that his daughters would return to them. So fast forward about a year. Florence gets pregnant. It's a oops. She gives birth to twins. And the crazy part is twins do not run in this line of family. So the fact that they've had two sets right one after another is crazy enough. Now here's the plot twist here. Jennifer, who's one of the twins, had a birthmark on her waist and a scar on her forehead. And Jacqueline, who was the younger sister who died, had the exact same markings, apparently. So, getting a little creepy. Let me find the part 2 of that story here. So, after that, when the twins started talking, they asked for toys by name. And not only that, they were asking for their sisters' toys, the deceased sisters. They were correcting their parents about whose toys was whose, because the parents were trying to check it out with the psychological tricks and shit, and they wasn't having it. They was like, no, this is the other ones and this is the other ones or whatever. So I can't remember their names already. So the parents tried their best to not, talk about the deceased girls because they were too upset. They thought the girls would be upset. Good night, Billy. Take care, man.
And I feel like,
Thanks for dropping in, bro.
Good night, Billy.
So they took pains to not talk about this because I mean it's kind of heavy for some kids anyway, and plus some people just they can't cope. So the way they cope is by not talking about it, pushing it way down. They had never been told those details. They also recognized their sister's old school. They recognized a park, and they'd never been shown these places. They never talked about them, any of this, but they recognized these places. And the biggest thing was they both would panic when a car would get too close, and they had irrational fears of automobiles. So it's just like all this stuff just starts kind of building, and it's just crazy. So a lot of the theories, and of course the very first one is reincarnation. It's the most obvious one, fits the pattern. And apparently Dr. Ian Stevenson, a psychiatrist who researches this stuff, he actually studied the Pollock twins and had hundreds of similar cases around the world. So I'm going to do a little bit more searching on this Ian Stevenson, and first of all, see what his credentials were, and secondly, see what kind of reports he filed and if they were peer reviewed and all that kind of shit. I know this is foreign to a lot of people listening to this. Peer reviewed means that people of the same science or ilk reviewed this shit to make sure it wasn't bullshit. So when you say cite your sources, usually you want the source to be somebody who wrote something who was peer reviewed. There's a little Schoolhouse Rock for your ass right there. So the pushback though is it could be parental projection, subconscious, I guess. But
Man, not if they were correcting the parents.
exactly,
Right.
that's exactly
Yes.
what I was about to say. But it was saying, what if John, who was actually convinced, somehow fed the girls these things unconsciously? But again, why would they argue? Because
Right.
if your father tells you something as a young kid, that's the word of God.
You believe
Yeah, I was going to say that's what you're going to believe.
Yep. So you're not going to correct your parent unless you are emphatic. Like a little kid will be emphatic if they know something to be true and you're calling them a liar. They will emphatically correct you, or they'll fawn because they've been beaten down so much when they try to correct anybody to begin with. But it says even unintentionally, kids are like sponges. Maybe they didn't realize he was passing along information. Florence, the mom, was apparently skeptical and avoided talking about all the previous girls, but still environment plays a role, supposedly. There's things, and I'll open it up to people out there who got real quiet. Have any of you had experiences where it's just, you just can't explain it, but it's like, I know this place, I know where things are here. I've never been here, but I've seen that before. Panel, y'all can talk.
I've experienced that. I've also experienced like looking at somebody's brand new baby and being like, I know you. Like, like,
There's
how
a
do I know
familiarity
you?
in their eyes.
Yes. And it's a baby. And
Yeah.
it shouldn't make sense, but it does. It completely does.
And a lot of people who listen to things like this and say bullshit, it's mainly it's because there's a lot of people there's two different types of people. There's straight up black and white, there's yes and no, and then there's shades of gray. And a lot of people with common sense have shades of gray, whereas black and white are more like accountant types or dumb fucks that just don't want to, admit that something might have like a little bit of each into it. But
what experience did you have, Christy? I want to know.
Well, it's just she's gonna take a minute to type that bad boy out.
Yeah, it is.
But I've had a few where it's just, remember New York?
Yes.
For years I had been talking about this recurring dream I had, and I would describe it. It was like the wrought iron fencing. You know what I'm talking about? Like when you see Philly or New York, and there's usually like a little ivy or something kind of growing out of it. And it was a very specific street with a very specific brownstone building. But I just kept dreaming that I was either from there or was supposed to be there or something like that. So when we went to New York in 17 or 18, I can't remember, we were meeting a couple of friends of ours who are Krav Maga experts, and they specialize in the gay community because after the Orlando was the nightclub shootings at that gay club, that they live in, well, I don't know if they still live there, but that fired them up to want to, infiltrate the gay community and let them know like how to defend yourself, in these situations. And Krav Maga is guerrilla street fighting, essentially. Krav Maga is the shit that's actually going to help you in a real life situation, because you ain't going to get your triangle choke and your arm bars and your flying headlocks and all that kind of shit in a real fight. Trust me. And that shot that you think you're going to land right between the button, probably not. It ain't like on TV. Trust me on that one. You're fighting for your life, and that's why I tell you, I'm not going to box you. I'm just going to headbutt you or bite your fucking nose off and spit it back at you. Don't, and especially if somebody's doing all that jumping around and shit like that's right when I'm gonna hit you. You don't want none.
Because what are you doing? Sit your ass down.
Right. It's like, remember the motherfuckers, hold me back, and they be still as a motherfucker, right?
Right.
Yeah. Go ahead and put her answer up there.
I was gonna say back to New York. You can finish your story.
Oh yeah. So anyway, it was I believe it was a gay lesbian community center.
Yeah,
like
it was.
The whole center was for them to have a safe place to go. Matter of fact, that whole area was like
because it had a bunch of gay flags and everything.
Yeah. And there was like the AIDS memorial. Yeah, okay. So that whole, it was like a neighborhood, a gay neighborhood. And so as I was coming out, right across the street, that exact fucking scene. I mean, exactly. And I remember I just kind of I staggered over because I was just like in disbelief, and I just kind of walked across the street slowly and shit. And, I walked down the sides and was kind of touching it. It was like, I cried. That shit was emotional, because I couldn't understand what the fuck was happening here, and it was just, and I haven't had the dream since, but I don't know what that was all about, why I was meant to see that place or, so just weird shit. Go ahead and put Christy's answer up there. Situation I had a dream of, and then it actually happened a few days later. The images in my dream were spot on to the place we were at.
Wow.
I've had a similar situation right before Gabby was born. I guess I could tell that story too. So when me and Shell started deciding to try, like the first time for Gabby, I remember specifically it was like January 3rd, because it was my Uncle Donnie's birthday, and we were over at my aunt's house watching a movie. And remember, it was the girl she had gotten pregnant by like the guy was having an affair with her. She got pregnant. It was basically like fatal attraction. He was trying to kill her and she was trying to climb something. I remember my mother said, "You better not climb your pregnant ass up there." And for some reason, I was just like, pregnant. And then so later that night, I had a dream that my grandma, who's gone, for some reason we were at a Husker game, and I'm a big old Husker fan. That I'm not. But it was like, so you've been in the stadium, of course, right?
Yes.
Jay? So picture yourself like at the first, so you're going up the steps, and then there's that like level, like where they have the it's like sectioned off. So you're at the first row of that section, and you're looking down to like maybe row 3 down in the field area.
Okay.
And so my grandma, who don't like football at all either, my mom was sitting down there, and my grandma had a big old Husker shirt on, and she had a big old thing of roses. And she like did this like kind of end zone dance, and then she handed my mom the roses, and then she walked away and disappeared. And I woke up, I was like, go take a pregnancy test. Now here's the thing. She had just had her period like days before.
Yep, just finished it.
And she was like, no. I was like, no, just take one. Sure as shit, she was pregnant.
Yep.
We went out and bought 2 more. Pregnant.
Yep.
Went to the doctor. Pregnant. But that was the first actual.
That would suck to know that early in the pregnancy.
Well, we were planning it, but so, I mean, it was a good thing. But I could see if it was a bad situation that would really suck because you can't undo it, you know?
Right.
It just seems like such a long time. Like I found out
it goes by quick though. All the shit that goes on.
It didn't for me. It didn't go by fast enough.
You got nothing but issues. Oh man.
Yeah. Well, didn't you say that your mom had some type of dream too when she found out she was pregnant with you, or was it your grandma?
It's probably my grandma.
No, it was me with Ajanique.
Oh, you talking about? Okay, yeah. Because I was saying I don't call that, but
it was me with Ajanique.
Oh, okay.
I just she walked past me in the hallway. We're in the house, and I turned and I looked at her and I was like, "You're pregnant," and she was like, "No, I'm not." And yes, she was.
You just know. Especially like black people too. The mama will just say something. Girl, you pregnant.
And all of a sudden it's like, okay, did they wish that on me or did they just happen to know?
Well, no, my cousin thought she was being smart because she had already had the first baby. That was probably about a year old. And then she came over. Now she was a stick. She was always a stick. And she's at the counter getting her plate and shit, belly sticking out and shit like that. And we just kind of looking at her. And my aunt looked at her. She's like, "Girl, you pregnant?" And she was like, "Oh no, that's just when you eat and your stomach get big like little babies or like little kids." She's like, "Girl, you pregnant?" She walked in, that bitch was pregnant. And then what she tried to say was when the baby started moving. Do you know what she tried to claim it was? I think I have a tumor or something.
Oh,
because they walk around inside you.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. She was not a bright person.
she was one of those like people that thought she was smarter than everybody else, but not intelligent.
Yeah.
But rest her soul.
She's trying to
Your
bring
daughter
everybody else down to her stupidity level.
You're cross talking. Shell first.
I said she was trying to bring everybody down to her stupidity level.
Oh yeah. Did not work. JJ.
I was just commenting on Christy. Her daughter found out when she was 8 months along.
Good God.
Now that would suck too.
Yes.
Because
so was the baby just in there laying down, just chilling? Be like Hank Hill's dad. Every time I touched you, you never moved. Not even mourning, already give up. Oh man, hang on just a second here. Trying to find it. I was trying to find the cough button because I could feel that shit coming. And of course, my mouse is taking forever to get to the goddamn button. But speaking of Hank Hill, did you hear about John Redcorn?
Yes. So sad.
No.
Oh, you haven't, Janae?
Huh.
Okay. You know John Redcorn, right? From King of the Hill? You watch King of the Hill? Okay.
Yes.
The guy that plays him, Jonathan Joss, was shot and killed. And it was in San Antonio. It was yesterday or the day before. But one thing I did not know about him was he was gay and, married to a man. And apparently this neighbor he had in San Antonio was extremely homophobic because they've been going at it for years, just arguing. Apparently what had happened, I read the rest of the story. His house had burned down, John Redcorn's. And so he went up north for a little while to, stay with family or whatever. When he came back to investigate the wreckage, he found the skeleton of his dead dog that burned up in the fire, which caused him to get very emotional And just screaming and yada yada. Well, the guy took it upon himself to come out and confront him,
Oh, for Christ's
and
sake.
which turned into a huge screaming match. And from what John's husband was saying, there was a lot of aggressively homophobic slurs being hurled at him before he went back and got a gun, said, "I'm gonna shoot you," and then shot him in the chest.
Oh my God.
The husband also said that John shoved him out of the way to save his life.
Wow.
So,
Oh,
there's a lot of layers to this story, which is very unfortunate. And those of you who didn't watch King of the Hill, he was also, I can't remember what his actual name, he chief something or other on Parks and Rec, the big native fella.
Oh,
What
I
else?
recognize. Yeah.
Way a long time ago, Johnson Family Vacation. Remember that?
mm-hmm.
Okay, remember when Solange was in that Indian casino and that ripped ass young Indian was like flirting with her?
Yeah.
That was him.
Wow.
Okay.
Yep. So very unfortunate. Nurses said it's very common that a woman doesn't know they are in labor. Really? Wow. Every woman I have ever met that had a baby said the exact opposite of that shit.
Right.
When that little motherfucker's up in there.
But especially, I mean, for me, and granted, I've been fortunate where I'm skinnier, but for me, I mean, you can tell when the baby starts moving because unless you're used to your stomach being with constant flutters, which if you have constant flutters all the time, then that means that you're a very nervous person. But you should be able to feel that. But I guess every person is different. Everybody. Every body.
Well, it also depends on the sensation because some people think one sensation is something else.
Yeah.
Because
my
shoulder, I thought it was, fucked up again because I had my labrum torn years ago and I got it fixed in 2020, 9/11 of 2020. So that was a real lucky day, huh? So anyway, I thought that it was starting to fuck up again because it was when I would reach across, like I almost yelped out in pain.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of times I was reaching for something, it was just hurting. And so, I was massaging it, I was doing acupuncture. And one day I was just, those they're like massage sticks, like they have a cane and all these balls on them, and you just,
mm-hmm.
do it on the knot. I got to my lat, like right in this area, and there was a knot that hurt like if you hit your funny bone times 20.
Oh,
I mean, it just sent a surge through my shoulder and through my chest and shit. And so I pushed it again and I felt a surge in my shoulder again. And so I massaged that out as much as I could, and lo and behold, my shoulder could move. Had absolutely nothing to do with my shoulder. It was my goddamn lat. So
wow.
a lot of times, guys, it's referred pain. You go, before you run into the doctor and, want pain medication or anything like that, just kind of feel around your body with a little pressure, but, feel around and see if that doesn't either relieve the pain somewhere else or if it causes more pain. But there's a lot of pressure points on your body that lead to other shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's my PSA for the day is, make sure that you're right with your body. Cause I was telling where did I go today? What was that appointment?
Your
colonoscopy doctor.
Okay. GI.
Because when I was 21, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. So, I had to have a goddamn, not a colonoscopy. That's not good. A
colonoscopy.
Thank you. Good Lord. It's almost time to sign off. But I have to do it every 5 years because I guess my chance of cancer increases by like 30 or something like that. And the weird thing, though, is as hypochondriac as I was coming up and everything, when they said that didn't bother me because it was just like, no, I'm going to take care of this shit. Because they predicted within 10, 15 years, like, you'll probably be at a point where you have to have at least part of your colon removed. Oh, fuck, no.
Or have one of those bags.
No, fuck that. So, I mean, I'm proud to say that I still have all my shit. I haven't had an attack in...
It's been a long time.
It's been 20 years.
Yeah.
since I've had like a attack. I've had like little minor flare-ups, but I've learned to manage my stress and not eat a bunch of bullshit and seeds and habaneros and all that other kind of stuff that'll flare you right up.
Well,
And
when you were having a lot of issues, we completely cut out pork, which is a slower digesting food. And I think that really helped too, because then we slowly introduced it.
well, pork and alcohol.
Yeah.
Mhm. But so anyway, when I went to the appointment, I was talking to whoever the facilitator was. And man, I took so many sidetracks that I forgot where I was going with that. We were talking about
Referred pain.
referred pain. Shit, I forgot. Okay, let's go back. Somebody bring me back.
Originally, we were talking about referred pain and to pay attention to your body.
Okay.
And stuff.
Oh man. See, I should have jotted that shit down too. So anyway, yeah, it was referred pain, went to the doctor. I gotta think what I was talking
Know
to
your
her about.
body.
Okay, got it. Okay, we were talking about how people don't pay attention to their body.
There you go.
And I was telling her about, the friend we had with the husband where his PSA was 17, where your shit's supposed to be under 0.5. So mine is like 0.4 something. No, it's supposed to be under 0.9. And I'm like 0.54 or something like that. Dude's was 17. Not 0.17. I'm talking about 17.0.
Yes, it did, Christy.
But he was basically like, well, I talked to my dad and he had it and he's fine. And from what I understand, dad was not fine. He was massively overweight too. And, 2
Gross.
steps in the grave. But what's even grosser is what it actually turned out to be, which was an infection in his belly button. Don't that just sound fat and nasty?
Yeah, they thought it was a hemorrhoid too.
Not a hemorrhoid.
Or a hernia, excuse me. Hernia.
So you had an infection big enough to be thought of as a hernia that raised your PSA to 17. There had to be a smell.
Right.
I mean, if something is that infected, and
there has to be. Yeah.
He was one of those dudes that didn't really enjoy taking showers anyway, like, and he did like plumbing type work and
I
shit
was
like
going
that.
to say manual labor.
Lay down.
Yeah.
Like, remember old people would go outside and cut the grass in their maintenance uniform, and then just come in and sit down and watch TV like it's all good. Get your grassy ass.
Go take a shower. Get out of them clothes. Yeah.
So to bring this all the way back around, theory 3 for these twins is psychological imprint or genetic memory, which I've never heard of, but it sounds sci-fi, but some researchers have explained the idea that trauma or experience could imprint across genes. So that would explain why, like, a lot of people, especially in the Black community, still have like a lot of the slavery type either mentality or anti-mentality. But one thing I can guarantee you, the dog thing has got to be a genetic memory. How many Black people are just scared of dogs? And I'm talking about all dog. Like my cousin Courtney, big tough motherfucker, look like LL Cool J, body wise. But you will unleash a little poodle on his ass, and he'll be screaming and climbing a tree and shit. My cousin, or actually our cousin Robert. I ain't gonna mention his last name, but our cousin Robert. That motherfucker had a Pomeranian chase him one time. And I'm talking about screaming. But I've seen a lot of brothers, big tough brothers, that a little dog get loose and they get to screaming high pitch and jumping and shit. But it's because they used to sick them dogs on us all the time.
I mean, some people are just flat out afraid of dogs and they don't like them. So I get it.
But again, though, it seems to be like 80%. As the generations are getting, older and we're getting more, there's definitely a lot more young Black people that are into, having animals and pets and stuff like that. But you think about like your mom's generation and maybe even our generation, there was not a lot of dog lovers, especially big dog. The only dogs they liked were the pit bulls that they could fight.
Yeah.
Well,
and it was a sign of toughness too.
Dobermans. My uncle raised Dobermans when we were younger. I remember that. But my family is the kind of family that is afraid of cats.
Really?
And I mean afraid. Like my sister will sit in her car until the cat goes on somewhere. I mean, she is afraid of cats.
Wow.
My grandmother
you gotta do is stomp at
afraid of cats. I know.
Running off.
And my grandmother was afraid of cats, and like all my aunts, and they're just, ooh, you got a cat. I mean,
yeah, my mom's side, that her above generation, actually her sister and above, were all Texans. So it was like, they were either on ranches or farms. So it was like cats would catch the mice and shit. You had dogs, you had horses. Gonzo, I saw that video. If you're talking about the same thing, is it the delivery drivers, or are you just talking about something you saw in real life? Both of them are funny.
Yeah.
Because I always laugh at motherfuckers that run from dogs. You're like, quit letting that dog chase you. Honestly, if you stand there with a firm voice and say no, a dog that's charging you will stop. I mean, if they know you're in command, they will stop. Unless they're crazy. But even the crazy ones, because there was a pit bull that lived next door to us in Omaha that jumped the fence and attacked this other dog. And when I ran up on it and said, get off, it cowered its head and ran. So I mean, it just depends on what your position is, how your voice is, if you're actually confident, because they can hear that trembling and shit.
Yeah.
And it's weird that I kind of understand, but fear pisses them off. And I'm like that too. If I smell fear on you, I've lost respect. It's just, I want to attack you now. And it's just like, now I want to eat you. Gonzo said, oh, that's why you're a CM. Okay. West Side, Chicago, West Side. The dog was so non-threatening, but the dude wasn't taking any chances. Man, I've seen that shit too, man. I've seen dudes run from chihuahuas. Like, what's that little motherfucker gonna do except bite your Achilles tendon or something?
Hey, but that shit still hurts.
Yeah, it does.
That's true, but you can just back kick that little motherfucker and he quit coming after you.
If you're coordinated. Me, I would probably miss.
That's true.
Miss and follow my ass, and then he come after my face.
That would be me.
Well, it's about that time to start wrapping it up, and that means we bring on the nice calming music as we tell you about all of our upcoming things and doings. First of all, JJ, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you? And before you say that, though, it is JJ you're talking to on the main Jaded Zen site. You're not doing the Instagram one, are you?
No.
Okay, that's Shell. Okay, so if you're getting in touch with us on Facebook, on the company page, you will be talking to JJ. I do also get the messages, so if you have anything you want to talk to us about, go ahead and drop it there. Or TraneWreck'D on Instagram, where Shelly will be taking all your messages. Again, I get them as well, so if there's something that needs to come to me, just make sure you say, show Coletrane or whatever. If you want to get in touch with me directly, I thought I had this banner ready, but my cursor was on the other screen here. Instagram, Jaded_Coletrane. I think that's all I had for me, right? And then the YouTube page, duh. If you're already on there, click the subscribe button. If you've already subscribed, do not click it because it will unsubscribe you. If you can go ahead and click like, if you can click share and share it to somebody that you like, word of mouth, all that kind of stuff. Just grab the link. If you go down to that share button and click copy link, it's easy as that. Just go into their email, drop it on them, say, listen to this shit. You'll laugh your ass off, or you'll throw something at the screen. May or may not be a show this Friday. I'm thinking there will be. So we'll let you know for sure. But definitely no show next week or the week after. It's going to be the best of. There'll be a new show on the 25th. So we will see you then. So for the ladies, this is the Coletrane saying, choo choo, bitches. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. So take care of yourself, take care of each other. It's time for us to jump off this track. Take care.
Night.